the blink pattern of the snappy female, fooling the males that are flying around looking for me. So when I catch him, he gets eaten.
The award-winning Tennessee WildCast is on the air with the latest on hunting, fishing, boating, wildlife watching, and all things outdoors. Make welcome your host, drummer and outdoor expert novice, Jason Harmon.
All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to this edition of Tennessee WildCast. I'm Jason Harmon. Thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for listening. Got a great show for you today. We are still on location at the Appalachian Bear Rescue. We brought in some more friends of ours from the agency. Paul Shaw. He is a TWRA Fisheries Technician, Creel Clerk up here in the East Tennessee area. But he's also got his hands in some other things. The Synchronous Fireflies. He's going to tell us about the Synchronous Firefly or the lightning bug. And he's got some other names for them we'll get into that I can't pronounce. And Mr. Matt Cameron, our regional coordinator, communications coordinator, is with me, helping me out again today. Thank you.
Thank you, man. Yeah, this is the bug world I know very little about. So I'm excited to see what Paul's going to share with us today.
We got a fishery tech talking about bugs, so this is going to be fun.
You're in trouble, man. We're all in trouble.
Okay, all right. Well, let's meet Paul and get to know you real quick, and we'll start there. So tell us about your career, what brought you to TWRA, and I guess if you need to talk about your college time and where you're from, that's okay too. I've heard Alabama and things, but
yeah, well,
kind of tough on the show, but
take what you get, man.
Yeah. So just tell us about yourself.
Okay, I grew up in Auburn, Alabama, and went to Auburn and got a degree in fisheries down there. And after, but we came up here when I was 5 years old. We started coming up here, and my father would get a job. He taught at Auburn in the summer to get out of that terrible heat down there and humidity. Came up to Oak Ridge from the time I was 5 to 17 or 18. So when I got out of the Navy in '77. Don't count. Stop
79.
Stop counting right now. Yeah. 2 years before he was born. I decided I got one free move out of the Navy, so I said, well, I'm coming back to East Tennessee. I had 2 job offers in Alabama, but it's too hot and terrible down there. And so I came to East Tennessee and finally got on with the agency in 1987.
Okay.
And I've been for 33 years now in fisheries. Wow. And live out in the woods.
That's a good place to live.
In the middle of nowhere. But
had to survive on eating bugs and stuff.
Eating bugs, so and
that's how I got into all this.
Bugs and squirrels and stuff. But the lightning bug thing was not part of my job, and still is not part of my job. It's an offshoot. I was walking up here in the mountains one day. This is years before the Elkmont synchronous lightning bug, the Carolinas, got to be so popular. I was walking up went to Cucumber Gap Trail, Jakes Creek, Cucumber Gap Trail, coming back down the Jeep Road, and it was right before dark, and I saw this elderly man and what was a little elderly lady was sitting in the lawn chair in the middle of the trail, and her husband's parking the car, and she came up, I said, what are you doing? I thought maybe she just wandered off lost or something. I was worried about her. It's right dark, pitch dark. And I'm waiting for the lightning bugs. And well, let me sit here and watch them with you. So that was the first time I saw the synchronous bugs in the park. After that, I would go up there every summer until it got to be such a hassle. You got the lottery and the tram and all that stuff. But when I first saw them the first few years, there were nobody up there. But I always looked for synchronous lightning bugs after that. I knew nothing about them.
About when was that?
This was probably 20 years ago.
Okay.
And when you were a child. Yeah, when you were a child.
Just a babe.
Still feel like one, to be honest with you.
You're still a toddler back then, yeah.
Goo goo gaga.
And so I'd go up there and look at them, but and I didn't know that there was any more than one species of synchronous lightning bug anywhere. I didn't know anything about them.
I didn't either.
One day about 2014, my house is in the woods, middle of nothing. Looked out the back door there one night, and there were synchronous lightning bugs blinking out through there. And I said, well, this is crazy. So I looked at them. I knew it's a different blink pattern than the ones in the park. The ones in the park will blink 6 times, and then they'll be dark for 6, 7, 8 seconds, and then they'll all join their fellow lightning bugs and start blinking again. Well, these were blinking 10, 20, 30 times in a row, all synchronous together. And so I got on the internet and checked around, and within 30 minutes, I had a reply from Lynn Faust, who is the local expert on, and worldwide expert on lightning bugs, but especially the ones in the park. And I had her on an email, and it turns out she lives off of Melton Hill Lake, and she had them in her yard. And, well, I keep my equipment over at Oak Ridge Management Area. And I looked at where she lived and where I live, and there's a beeline between her place and mine is right through the Oak Ridge Management Area.
Beeline or a bug line?
A bug line right through there, lightning bug line right through there, you know?
Yeah.
And
that's bug flies.
Yeah, so I said, well, this would be a good place to start looking for them because that's undisturbed property, most of it. And if I wanted to look for some more of this other species, and she told me what she thought it was, and when I got some bugs to her, she confirmed that's what it was. So a different genus and species than the ones in the park.
Okay.
And these, the ones in the park, blink in almost a perfect synchrony. This is what you call an intermittent synchrony. Some are still blinking on a periphery while the bulk of them go dark. Then after an undetermined, by us, the bugs determine it.
They know.
They know when to rejoin their buddies, and they start blinking in synchrony again. And that's called an intermittent synchrony because some of them are still blinking, you know, on the periphery out through there. So that's what started this insanity, you know, with the bugs. And I started it just for fun.
Yeah.
And
but you've came a long way. You have a book that you've contributed to, and folks can read up on.
I haven't contributed anything except, you know, they've got our project mentioned in there. Lynn Faust did it.
Tell us about the project and how unusual this is.
Wayne Jafellers used to be one of our dispatchers, and he was a technician out at the National Lab. And the Oak Ridge property has got 22,000 acres that's reserved just for an environmental study area as a buffer around the main part of the DOE property. And it's for environmental studies. And so they got, I was badged for access. So Wayne Jafellers and I, we listened to what Lynn said the preferred habitat for this particular species that we were messing with was. And we took a topo map and talked to some people that knew the area, and we determined it may be about 30 different locations over about a 15-mile stretch of these back roads, these old patrol roads, where these things might be located. And we went out and looked, and 28 of those did have populations of this Fisheries frontalis, which we call the snappy sink.
Okay.
What we're studying is the snappy sink, and they call it the snappy sink because they blink so fast. When the temperature's up, they may blink 60, 70 times, 80 blinks per minute. Whoa. So we started studying this population. We structured a project with all the environmental variables, and we did this project so it would be a bioindicator species type project. And we've been doing this. Will be our 6th year. You have a 3-week period where these things blink.
That was going to be one of my questions.
Yes.
What time of year are you going to see these bugs? And so you're telling me you got 3 weeks in this time period.
They start toward the end of May, the last week of May, and will blink through the 2nd week of May, sometimes into the 3rd week of May. And experts that know what they're doing, like Lynn Faust, she goes by mean degree days to predict when these things are going to start blinking. I can't spell mean degree days, so I don't do that. I just look out the window. I've got them on my place, so I look down on the creek, and I say, well, there they are, you know. So
Here we
go.
Yeah. Well, you need to let me know so we can get that out on social. People can be watching.
Oh, man.
Yeah. It's hard to photograph. We've had people down there with excellent cameras and all. It's hard to photograph these things to get up the
video.
light
Enough to make them.
Yeah, because these, you have lightning bugs that blink at dusk, which if you want to use a word, crepuscular, you know. These lightning bugs like your Big Dipper that comes out on the roadside, the most common one that kids catch.
Okay.
Those appear at dusk. These do not appear until it's pitch dark, usually about 9:30 at night, and they'll blink till about 12, 1 or 2 o'clock. But the population, the density of the population drops off around midnight. And they'll only blink for 3 weeks. So we've graphed the ramp up of the population. It ramps up slowly, and they're at their peak for about 3 days, and then at the end of that breeding cycle, they drop off immediately. And maybe 2 days after that peak, you'll see none for a year.
Wow.
So that's all you've got.
And you may have said this, and I may not have heard it, but what areas are you going to see these bugs in? Is it all over the state of Tennessee, or mainly in this eastern part of the state?
Well, most of our lightning bugs in Tennessee are in this eastern part.
Okay.
You've got about roughly 30 species of lightning bugs in Tennessee. In this worldwide, there are 2,000 species.
Okay.
Depending on who you read,
Wow.
1,900 to 2,000 species. In the United States, you've got 114 species. About 25 to 30 of which are in Tennessee. And so all of them have one thing in common. They need moisture for the larval stage. They are a larva for about 2 years. Then they emerge, and their breeding activity on these anyway is like 3 weeks, then they die. So you need to look in the deep woods. Get away from the TV set,
Amen.
Away from this stuff here.
Amen.
Yeah, away from TV set, and give your thumbs a break,
Yeah.
and get outside in the pitch dark at 9:30. And we have a high density of skunk apes and Bigfoots in this area, so you got to watch out for that. Hey, I'm just going by what they say, man.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about it. I'm in fisheries.
Well, you're out there with them, so.
Yeah, just elbow to elbow with them sometimes, and keep your Slim Jims with you.
Yeah.
Keep them away from you.
Toss them out.
Yeah, toss them out there, get them away from you. But if you get out there near a body of water, the best location that we determine is on a western or northwestern facing slope of a hill that comes down to a small branch or creek somewhere there's a little body of water where this larval stage has to have the moisture to survive.
Okay.
And it has to be in the woods. If you see something that you think is a synchronous bug, and we're going to get into what synchrony here in a minute, I think.
Definitely.
If you think you see a synchronous bug in a field, it's not these, because these do not appear in the open, in a clearing.
Okay.
These are in the woods after 9:30 at night, after pitch dark. This is Eastern time we're talking about, and start looking for them there.
Okay.
These I don't know how. I don't think these were documented, the locations of them in East Tennessee, very well. Now, after this, the ones in the park, the Photinus carolinus, got so popular, people started calling in and reporting that they think they see synchronous lightning bugs, and so my buddy Gerry Middleton from TDEC and I would go all over the place looking and trying to see if these were synchronous lightning bugs or not. And most of the time they were not. It was different species that overlaps. The Photinus heebie-jeebies, that would appear. But most of those are not in the deep woods. They're in a tree canopy on the edge of a field.
Okay.
And evergreens, they love evergreens for some reason. But we started getting calls. And these snappy sinks, you got pockets of these things all over the place. I think Walt Doxey National Forest or Park, whatever it is in Mississippi, apparently it's got a tremendous population of them. Lynn Faust texted me last year, and she was down there with David Attenborough and them studying synchrony and all. And she said, how are you structuring your counts, your population density counts? Said they're surrounded by 1,000 of them blinking all at one time, I've seen them in different locations in East Tennessee. Locally, if you go to Norris, at the Norris watershed, behind the old grist mill, the little dirt road goes back in there, gravel road, and there's a little pond. It's a water pickup pond for the town of Norris. There are some right there. I've seen them on the side of Highway 95. There are people in Oak Ridge, in the neighborhoods of Oak Ridge, houses, neighborhoods. If there's a moist location in deep woods at night, there are some there. If people will get out and start looking around and pay attention to what synchrony is, I think they'll find them, and they don't have to go to Elkmont and put up with a lottery and
like the crowds
and the crowds, 1,000 people over there. They don't have to put up with any of that to see a good light show from synchronous species.
Well, let's see what synchronous means for those who.
Okay, we've got a string of lightning bugs here.
He's got some kind of.
We bought these lightning bugs in
contraption here.
You may think
High tech.
these are Christmas lights, But no, these are lightning bugs.
Okay.
Highly trained lightning bugs is what these are. Now, there's a difference between synchrony and lightning bugs blinking all together. We get calls from these Hebes species where they're little white lights in a canopy by the hundreds, glittering and glittering. And now and then you'll look and you'll see 2 or 3 of them in there, and they're synchronized, they're blinking together. But there's a difference between all blinking together and blinking in synchrony.
Okay.
Now this is synchrony right here. They're all together at the same time.
Okay.
That's synchrony.
Now, if you're listening to this show, you need to go watch because we've got got a light show going on here for you.
And these snappy sinks, sometimes they'll blink this fast.
Uh-huh.
The higher the temperature and humidity, and the more they're toward the peak of the breeding season, the faster they'll blink.
Faster blink. Okay.
Yeah.
So they even change their blink pattern intra-species.
That's right. During the time of day, even the blink frequency.
Didn't know that.
And anyway,
So
What do we have here?
while this is going on,
what's going on here? These are organized lightning bugs. Then you've got some oddballs that show up.
Strange. Something.
you've definitely got to watch this
Something
show
I
now.
don't know what
in
the heck's coming in here.
You've
the
brought
set.
Come over here. Get away from me. Get away from me.
so your light show worked.
It worked. It worked.
Called them right in
It
here,
brought
Paul.
them in. It brought them in. Yeah.
So
Explain to them what's happening.
What do we have
Yeah.
here? Yeah, we've got a lightning bug type creature has walked in.
Flew in.
Flew in, I guess.
Yeah, flew in. This is Gerry Middleton.
Gerry Middleton. I thought I saw
Yeah.
his name on the list to be on the show, but he hadn't showed up yet. So this is him.
This is Gerry Middleton's a bat man. He studies bats. Retired from TDEC, Department of Environment and Conservation.
Okay.
And he's been right hand man in the woods for the last 4 years?
Does it speak?
4, 5, 6 years, a lot. Yeah.
It does sign language.
It speaks. You can speak now if you want to speak.
Predaceous female. I mean,
Oh, he's a predaceous female.
The deep voice.
my blink rate.
Yeah.
Check. Oh my goodness! Look at this.
Yeah. Turn around where they can see your blink rate here. This is a very rapid blink rate.
To mimic that of the snappy males.
Can we get the headset on so we can hear you?
Yeah, put the headset on there.
Mic him up.
Help him out there,
her up.
Paul. Turn it around there. All right, here we go.
Do you have ears? Lightning bugs have ears?
They do
This
today.
one does.
Can you hear anything?
Perfect.
So I can mimic the blink pattern of the snappy female, fooling the males that are flying around looking for me. So when I catch him, he gets eaten. And so I absorb the chemicals like luciferin, which helps me light up my light bulb.
Yeah.
Luciferin. Okay.
And so that's what I do. And we're pretty old. Some of our species go back 100 million years. There's been fossils found in Burma amber of fireflies that had a photic organ. So we've been through a lot over the times.
Yeah, I want to show you what he's talking about. One of
Sure.
his relatives here
We'll need a little bit more explanation.
made some photographs here. Now, this is the one that we're studying. This is, if you want to go out and see if you can find these, and a lot of people that are listening to this probably have these on their property, if they have deep woods in a body of water. Okay. This is the species, the snappy sink. There is no red on the head.
Okay.
That is a characteristic of this thing. This is a female that was being devoured by a wolf spider. Spiders are one of the big predators that prey on lightning bugs.
Okay.
This what he was talking about when the female Fisheries, there's some lightning bugs out there that be mean ones. They're mean ones. I'll show you a picture of her. It's a Fisheries species female that preys. Here's one. We call them a predator because they prey on the males of these other species. They have what's called Lucibufagin, lucibufagin or something. It's a chemical that they pick up, similar to monarchs feeding on milkweed.
Okay. Yeah.
And this, most of these lightning bugs are toxic. Taste bad too. you know.
And you know this how?
I know this because somebody had to have tasted one time.
Okay,
It wasn't
good.
me. Somebody.
She eats them.
Yeah.
So.
Bats won't eat them, but I will.
Yeah, but the main predators of lightning bugs are other insects, invertebrates. Vertebrates don't, mammals, you know, like bats and all, they don't eat these things much. But these things prey on the other lightning bugs. They'll hunt them down and they'll eat them. They'll land, these things, this is a Fisheries species female, one of the predatory ones. I don't know which one because there's many species of these. She does not naturally have that toxin in her body. She has to get it from eating the other species, other lightning bugs that do have it.
Okay.
But it doesn't kill her.
It doesn't kill her.
Okay.
Now, this is a scary thing. This is a mixed audience here. The children may want to go out of the room here. I didn't know this when I first
advisory.
Advisory,
WildCast for the
parental
first time
advisory,
ever.
parental
First time.
advisory. I didn't know that. I caught this critter here, and I didn't know what they were. This is years ago, and so I put this one and another one in a jar, and it was about 20 minutes.
Typical for people to do. Put
Typical lightning bugs in a jar.
right? Yeah.
And about 20 minutes later, this was all that was left
Dun, 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 dun.
of the other one.
Oh, wow.
This is all that was left, the hard body
So
parts.
there's a good meal inside that jar.
This one ate it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she has picked up that chemical, that toxin, from her victim.
Right.
And it's been noted by some people have seen these lightning bugs. We've gotten to where we can identify these things by their flight pattern going through the woods. They fly like a determined predator. They're just a fairly fast flash streaking through, and you'll see them just cruising through the snappy sinks and other lightning bug species. They're on a mission. Mm-hmm. It's very common to see a lightning bug caught in a spider web. But somebody has documented it and wrote it up, so it has to be true that
Definitely.
that
On the
that-
internet.
that these things have been seen getting other lightning bugs out of the spider webs.
Wow.
So feasting on the spider's meal. Like
That's right. The spider
Stealing
was
it.
the spider was going to eat that one, and
man,
this
it's a
one.
vicious world out there, isn't it?
And these things have been. It's pretty cool. They will sometimes fly down to the ground and mimic the blink pattern of the female
Which is what
species. Yeah,
she does.
Now the male and the female have different. The females, most of them don't fly.
There we go.
Most of them don't fly. Now these will fly. Most of lightning bug adults don't eat anything, but these do. They'll eat other lightning bugs. But these have been known to fly down on the ground and mimic the blink pattern of the female. The female's blink pattern is different than the male's. The female may blink once every 10, 15 minutes, just one glow. And it's specific to the species. All of the lightning bugs have blink patterns specific to their species, which we'll go through in a minute.
Sure.
But they will mimic the blink pattern of the female to lure in the male. So he's down there in the grass. Your female lightning bug today, will be down in the grass doing the blink pattern of the female to lure in that male, and she'll pounce on them and eat them.
Deception and cannibalism.
Deception.
Wow.
You never
Yeah.
know what you're going to get on WildCast.
And somebody figured
deep.
out that some of these the more brilliant males, UT graduates probably,
I don't know if I fell in that
Yeah.
category.
Well,
Here, though.
will fly down some distance away because the word got out. You know, the word got out.
On the street.
They read the book. They probably read the book. You know,
Lynn Faust's
and Lynn Faust's book, and they'll crawl through the grass, and they'll peek around the blade of grass over there, and they'll say, "It doesn't look right." You know, it's not my babe there. You know, so he'll go away and save himself. You know, he'll save himself like that.
Yeah.
But
Street smart.
yeah, so that you know,
Grass.
the life of a
It
lightning
looks
bug. You know, people like lightning bugs because they're pretty to look at. Mm-hmm. But the whole life cycle of these things is death and destruction. Really,
Yeah.
you know, it's a mean world out there.
Some hooking up in between there somewhere.
Yeah,
right?
somewhere in there it
Gotta
is.
be, right,
Yeah,
to make
gotta be. Yeah,
babies.
but then you got
Then he dies.
You got these things cruising through. You know, you got to watch it.
Uh-huh.
You know, all the time you got to watch it when you're a lightning bug. But
So tell us about the map you have there. I know you've got a light map.
Oh, yeah.
Is that show
lightning
where-
bugs are disappearing across the world. This is a light map from NASA. This is a photograph from a NASA satellite.
Okay.
This is United States. These are lights at night in the United States.
Okay.
Artificial light at night, ALAN, is a abbreviation for artificial light at night.
Alan.
Alan, know anybody named Alan?
I do. My middle name of my son. I'll start calling him Artificial Light at Night.
Artificial light at night.
Yeah.
He's
Named him after that.
a destroyer of lightning bugs. Yeah. And, there was a group, I can't remember the name of the group, in Germany that studied, they put out bug traps since 1905. And the insect population density has been about the same until about 2006, 2007. And they noticed over just a few years that the number of bugs they collected declined by 78%. You could say 80%.
Yeah.
And I said, well, maybe this is a temporary thing. Well, the next year they came back, and it's still down by 80%. Pesticides, with lightning bugs, there are a lot of bugs are out at night, as you know. And any kind of what they call light pollution, it's not been determined exactly what causes this decline in these populations. Lightning bugs are part of the food web, the food chain. Insects are the base of what we eat. It eventually gets even to bears.
Right.
This is the food chain. So our project as a bioindicator species is done because these are easy to identify, and it's a structured project, and we're in a protected area, and we are looking at the variables in the density number of these populations according to weather variables. Humidity, moon phase, rainfall, cloud cover, temperature, humidity. We've got a chart made out. Every time we check these 28 different populations, we document all of that. So we're getting a database of how these populations respond over the years to different things. So
Awesome.
It could be that light pollution is causing these things.
It's a factor.
A factor, but we don't know.
We don't know.
We don't really know.
What about the increase in digital technology and radio waves? Do you think that affects
LED lights are terrible.
insects?
LED lights with a blue wavelength on them are could be very destructive to
Didn't know
lightning
that.
bugs. These things communicate with a blink pattern. I want to show Lynn Faust, if people want to identify these things, this book here,
Fireflies, glowworms, and lightning bugs.
she has the best chart.
Cool.
You can get a start by identifying lightning bugs by the blink pattern. And it's got the time across the top and the species down the side. But if you want to go out and start identifying lightning bugs, this helps us a tremendous amount.
Can you get it online?
You can get it online, Amazon.
Okay.
Yeah, Amazon sells the book.
I guarantee there'll be people who watch
Yeah.
this who will pick that
Definitely.
book
This
up.
is this is really cool, and this book is oriented toward the regular person on the street. It doesn't come with that piece of paper.
Easy read.
Yeah, easy read like that, and a lot of good
A lot of fun
photos.
pictures, Yeah.
Yeah,
So I'll need one more
Excellent
flash
stuff.
here. Can we get a flash and then
Get a flash.
Bring in the firefly. All right. Look, brought one in.
Flying here.
brought one in here.
Is this Snappy?
This is this is a Fisheries predatory female.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Named Gerry.
I swear,
Figure
this
that
has been a fun
Yeah.
show. It's been interesting.
Yeah.
Learned a lot. Y'all, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Time to bug out.
Yeah.
Bug out.
Thanks for tuning in. Stay connected with TWRA by visiting our website at tnwildlife.org and follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Hey, it's all about Tennessee wildlife. It's what we do. Tennessee WildCast will be on the air again next week. We'll see you then.